This current case has been started in 1997 when major logging concessions were given out to a large part of Toledo. I believe the area covered 500,000 acres. Um, Again, communities found themselves going to their milpas and finding strangers in their areas, and not knowing what happened, they began to ask questions, and that precipitated a whole bunch of activity, questioning how government can just give away concessions without our knowledge, without our consent, and certainly without even informing us. And from there on, that started with Holy and Cho. That case didn't go anywhere. It pretty much started and stalled. It did go to the Inter-American Commission for Human Rights, and they did acknowledge that Maya people, as indigenous people, as Aboriginal people, do have certain rights, and had made some recommendations. Now, one of the key things the government had done was sign 10 points of agreement. Now, I don't want to use the word treaty, but it was an agreement of like a contract that said, I recognize that that you all are Maya people and that you have long-standing occupancy use of the land that you live on. So that was a major coup for us, but it wasn't really a part of any land rights struggle. We fast forward to 2006 when Satim took the government to court over the seismic testing that was happening in community lands. Again, that the basis was that government cannot continue going into people's properties or people's land without even telling them. So the same scenario from 1997. That case was followed by 2007. And in that case, we brought two cases of Conejo and Santa Cruz to basically to bring this issue of customary land ownership. Affidavits were produced. People said, yes, we believe, we know that we own land differently to other Belizeans, and we want protection of those rights. We won that in 2010, that judgment came out. After that, we had continuing infractions in Maya land, and this spurred other community to say, you know what, we also need to defend our land in the same manner that Conejo and Santa Cruz have. And so that initiated what we call a class action lawsuit, where we had 23 communities come together as Maya Leaders Alliance, as Toledo Alcalde Association, and within their own rights to ask for the same recognition that happened to Santa Cruz and Conejo. That case is the one that we have just heard today, the final judgment, so to speak. The Court of Appeal had affirmed customary land ownership, but did not say that government had to enforce those rights. This judgment today says that government has to enforce those rights and has given them a deadline to do so. So that, in a nutshell, I think is the history of Maya land rights. We've been vindicated. I mean, if you listen to a lot of the arguments as Satim has done previously with Greg as spokesperson and leading the legal charge, it is a vindication. We're very happy with the result. I am sure if Greg were here, he would be saying the same thing. It's what he has been arguing all along. And it's an affirmation of our rights. And because of that, if we are the owners of our land, then we must be party to anything that happens to our property.